Hey, good morning. Wishing everyone a wonderful Sunday morning. Welcome to Hopeful Wisdom. We kick off our new season actually today. And before I get into my show later on today with comedian Gregory Hall, we're talking about finding love in the new year. Something happened over the weekend that I have been so frustrated. I'm so disgusted that I can't even think straight. And that is the suicide of a victim of Chaim Walder, the author who wrote Kids Speak. The allegations, 22 women came forward with allegations against Chaim Walder, and he took his life. Now, what I find interesting here is he wrote a very compelling suicide note saying that he's going to take that this is a sea of lies and he's going to take these people to Beis Din Shemayim. Grr! Strong words for a rapist, right? It's garbage. 22 women came forward. One of them, when she saw that the mayor of Bnei Brak would go to this animal's funeral, took her life. Another sexual abuse victim committed suicide. When will it stop? When will the first allegation be enough? The first time someone comes forward, why can't that be enough? Why do we need 22 victims? It doesn't make any sense. Anybody in the Jewish religious world is aware of this story. And if you're not, Google it. It is just full of facts. There's so much detail. And basically this Chaim Walder figured that he couldn't believe the backlash against these allegations. Wake up. When will the world wake up? You can't sexually assault people anymore and hide behind your credentials. You can't be a sexual predator and write children's books. That has gone on in our community for years. We have, I can just name Nehemiah Weberman a bunch of years ago, Mendel Tevel. These are just two that come to my head. There needs to be, and it looks like the opinion is changing. It looks like it's starting to be taken seriously. But you have, his books were pulled from the shelves of Jewish bookstores. His books were pulled from the shelves of Jewish bookstores because of his sexual abuse allegations. People are sick of it. We're tired of it. It is the most disgusting thing, an evil thing, in my humble opinion, and I am certainly no rabbi, that a person can do to another human being. And the amount of, people saying, well, he was never prosecuted in a court of law. He took that away from his victims. He couldn't believe, let me tell you, I have met, in my years of setting people up, my years in business, I have met so many powerful men. Okay, I've met doctors, lawyers, billionaires, billionaire philanthropists. I've met them all, whether it be in dating coaching, like I said, regular business. You take a man like Chaim Walder. He is this respected author. He's sold millions of his books. And all of a sudden, the voice of these 22 women overpowers him. Suddenly, his books are being pulled from shelves. Thank God. Thank God. We shouldn't have to read the thoughts of a rapist. Men like Chaim Walder, like most rapists, think the rules do not apply to them. Men like Chaim Walder are used to getting their way with their prestige. Mayors have gone to his funeral, for crying out loud. There's been rabbis being slammed for attending the Shiva. Nobody important went to the victim's funeral. I'm now out of protection, and I don't know. I know her name. I don't know if the family or if the people involved would want her name. I'm not going to say her name. Something these men don't get. It's time. It's over. The time that you could abuse somebody sexually and they're going to stay quiet, that's over. Now, I've heard some opinions on this, like, for example, that Chaim Walder wanted to deal with this privately. He did not want to deal with this publicly. Well, don't rape anybody. You can't expect people to sit quietly in their pain. You can't expect it to go your way. And the fact that he was hurt that it didn't go his way, and then like a little baby threw a tantrum and wrote this beautiful suicide note to his family, calling his 22 victims liars. And then he shot himself like a coward. That's a man who was backed into a corner and realized he was not the biggest in the room anymore. He was not the big man on campus. His voice couldn't overpower 22 victims, and he shot himself like a PUSSY. And suicide is a sin. Let's not forget, especially a person under those circumstances. It is a sinful act. This wasn't some sad, lonely, depressed person who shot himself. This man had his feet to the effing flame and shot himself. That's not sad. That's pathetic. And I hope God punishes him for that too. There needs to be this reaction to sexual abuse. Sexual abuse causes suicide, as we've seen over the weekend. It causes depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, opiate abuse, alcoholism, drug addiction, and the list goes on and on. I have been setting people up since I'm 19 years old, and I'm 37 today. You know how many people I've spoken to have been sexually assaulted? Oh my God. I don't know the number. I couldn't think of it. Everybody I know, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying that there aren't good people in the Haimisha communities. I'm just saying I don't know anybody who came out of a Haimish community that wasn't sexually assaulted. And I deal with Hasidim in business. So that goes to show you how is it these Hasidim will talk to me in a business setting about what they've been through. And nobody wants to come forward. Shame to the family, this and that. The only shame on anyone's family should be shame on Chaim Walder's family. Yes, they have a right to grieve, I guess. I suppose. But to think that the world should grieve with them? That's horseshit. That's horseshit. And these people need to be shut all the way down. No, their books don't matter anymore. No, mayors and chief rabbis and people of prestige and importance shouldn't be showing up at their funeral. When do we defend the victims? I was talking to someone a few days ago about this, and she said, she hopes she hopes that these people can make tshuva. As a victim of childhood sexual abuse myself, I can tell you, if I had any way, shape, or form at this juncture of my life to get legal justice against my attacker, I would take it. The statute of limitations have been long gone. I'll never get justice. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't want it. And the fact is, this man killed himself for one reason, to evade justice and to pour shame on his victims with his disgusting suicide note. You know, these type of people will say anything to save their ass. And what does it matter? He calls these girls liars, and then boom, shoots himself in the head. No, there's no their side of the story at that point. Where is their justice? Where is their healing? There needs to be more outrage over the death of the victims of sexual assault and of the abuse itself than protecting the prestigious rapists and pedophiles who have gotten away with this shit for years. I'm telling you, you know what? At the end of the day, I am a religious woman, and although I celebrated the Sabbath yesterday, I'm a preach on Sunday. You know what I think? What pisses me off is that there are too many victims that come forward with all sorts of problems, and JCW, Jewish Community Watch, is the only place for them to get resources, you know, and that's one organization. And the floodgates come open. Hashem, at the end of the day, Mashiach is coming. You take a look and watch, like Bill Cosby was kicked off his pedestal. All those women, no. 22 women, I don't even know how many women Bill Cosby sexually assaulted. I don't even know. But to think that 22 women are going to make up stories about Chaim Walder? Are you crazy? Why? How come? Mashiach is coming. Redemption is coming. Hashem is bringing light onto the evil and the sickness and the ugly of the world, so we should see it. Instead of run from it, embrace it. When you learn these people are pedophiles and crooks and they cheated on their wives and all of this shit, throw their books out the window. No, it doesn't matter what they think about the Talmud. It doesn't matter anymore. The character of a person and how they conduct themselves within the four walls of their life matters when you're going to hold your head with prestige and wealth, especially in the Jewish community. This man wrote 80 books, all having to do in some form or another with Jewish morality. Shoots himself in the head. And we're supposed to mourn? Horse shit. I mourn for his victim. I mourn for her because I think of the years that could have been me. I think of the years that could have been me. I am done pretending like this doesn't, it affects all of us. It affects all our children. And thank God our rabbi stood in our congregation on Shabbat and said, this will never happen in our congregation. Basically said, we will be a support system to victims. We will not protect predators. The rabbi of our congregation was outraged by this. And there's nothing not to be outraged about. When I think of all the people who've ended their life having to do with sexual abuse, I think that could have been me. I don't know how I was able to heal years of therapy, years of support, years of love, years of understanding, but I had to fully remove myself from that situation in order to heal. The healing is out there. The healing is possible. There are days where you don't think about what happened to you. You can get there. There are days where you even think, I've survived. I've overcome. I've triumphed. There are days I go to my car in the morning when my kids go to school and I just start to tear up because our life is so different than how I grew up. It could have been all of us who were sexually assaulted as children or adults. It is the most disgusting feeling. I can't describe to you what it feels like. It's awful. And until there's healing and mental health services and protection and support, the mayor of Bnei Brak should have met with all of these victims and said, what can we do for you? I hope, I pray, I don't know the laws in Israel, but I hope there's an attorney who will defend these 22 women and take every single nickel Chaim Walder ever made. There needs to be some financial restitution, and there is enough money there for these women to pursue it. Now we're down to 21 victims, not 22, because she's gone. I cry for her because I know that could have been me. It could have been all of us. And it's something the victims have to know there's light at the end of the tunnel. Absolutely, Faye. There needs to be more support in New York City. There needs to be more support everywhere. There needs to be a safe place where victims of this trauma can talk about their life and talk about how they feel in a safe environment, whether it's with a therapist, in group therapy, it doesn't matter. There needs to be healing and understanding. And when we see major political figures protecting pedophiles and rapists, what does that show the victims? It showed one of them, her life meant nothing. Her tragedy meant nothing. And she took her life. We need to pray for these people. We need to help these people. And if you own a book by Chaim Walder and you haven't thrown it off your shelf, I don't want to know you. I don't like you anymore. And you're not my friend. I'm done watching people protect disgusting sexual abusers and letting it be okay. I am so proud that the rabbi of our congregation addressed this and said 25 years and allegedly 22 women. There shouldn't have been one. There shouldn't have been two. There needs to be, and then people say, oh, well, it happened so long ago. Yeah. I wasn't able to start talking about what happened to me until I was 31. I didn't know that not dealing with this trauma was causing me trouble in every area of my life. I didn't know. I just didn't know. Until I really started getting to the root of what happened to me. But it was spilling in the pain was, I hated my mother for it. I could never forgive her for putting me in a situation where something like that could happen. Now where I stand, my mother was a victim of sexual abuse herself. She didn't know. She just handed me to anybody. She didn't know any better. She was a broke single mother, tired, barely could keep food on the table, barely could keep the lights on. Believe me, my mom didn't have the seichel to think about the safety of where I was going. People have to realize it takes years. I was assaulted 32 years ago. 32 years ago. And I only could talk about it when I was 31. There's so much shame and ugliness surrounded in sexual abuse that it takes years, which is sad, which is unfortunate, before people are ready to talk about it and embrace any kind of justice or healing. I have, let's see, hold on one second. Faye puts, same here. It wasn't clear until I dealt with self-love when it came to dating and dealt with past trauma with men, forced consent, statutory rape. For me to date now, better quality men. And this is when I was really This was really in my early 30s. Yeah. We need to come forward. We need to talk about it. People need to know what happened. And no pedophile should feel safe anymore. If you think you're going to do something like this and the world is going to stay quiet, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. It doesn't get to, you shouldn't get that privilege. You should be shamed. Everybody should know who you are. And nobody should have to read your fucking books. I am so thankful I don't have anything that man wrote on my shelf. And what a bracha. What a blessing to have the amount of sales that he has when there are so many decent people trying to break in. They just don't have the right connections. There are so many decent people that could be famous if only they knew the right people. It's disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me when Kim Kardashian shows her ass to everybody. It's disgusting to me that sexual abuse gets swept under the rug. The abuse of sex and sexuality at this point, it's disgusting to me. I'm so tired of people being protected that do heinous things. And I just couldn't sit here and feel these feelings, especially it's a new year. And I want my piece of entertainment, which is my show, to mean something. I went from being a comedian that would talk the dirtiest shit, and Gregory Hall is watching. You know the dirty shit I used to talk about. And I decided I wanted whatever it meant for me in entertainment to matter and to make some sort of a difference and to be a platform for healing. And when we are even speculating that these women could be telling the truth, whether you like it or not, you're supporting a rapist. When you're, oh, well, he was never tried in a court of law and this and that, and I'm not sure, and blah, blah, blah. Well, 22 women? 22 women? And take a look. Bill Cosby sexually assaulted half the world. And he's out of prison. Where is the justice? There needs to be more. We can't just have a couple of good guys in a sea of bad guys. Amanda Crawford puts, it's awful that so many celebrities whom are pedophiles are protected. We need to stop protecting them and stop supporting them. I'm so glad many are being exposed, such as how Corey Feldman exposed Charlie Sheen. Absolutely. Corey Haim, kid died. Basically from sex abuse. Basically. The list goes on and on. And we need to think about these people. Even if their victims are faceless to you, they're still real. And they still went through hell. And they deserved better than what they got. And my only hope for Chaim Walder is that God seeks the fullest extent, the fullest punishment the Almighty will give a human being for the suicide and the sexual torture of 22 women. You know, in Jewish law, especially now with what we know about mental health, and I'm certainly not going to profess to be any type of rabbinical authority over here, but when there's a time when someone is so down and they can't see any other way, especially after they've been shamed and ridiculed for just coming forward, for just wanting some justice. I get it, right? And when they end their life, that is a tragedy. That is a tragedy. When somebody can't handle the public press of being a rapist and a pedophile, too fucking bad. If you need to shoot yourself, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on Chaim Walder. And shame on his family for sitting Shiva for him. I would have respect for those people if they turn their back on him. You turn your back on a pedophile, on a rapist, even if it's your husband, even if it's chas v'shalom your son, even if it's your cousin, even if it's you're this, you're that, you're third, it doesn't matter. You walk away. Let the professionals support these people. Support the victims. I stand for nothing but victim support. And I am going to get ready for my episode on a happier note, but I couldn't sit still when I saw that this girl had killed herself. It upset me in such a way where you see yourself, where you just wish you could say, listen, it gets easier, it gets better if you get the help, because it's out there and it's real and it's free. And I know how to help. I know how to connect people with resources. If you're struggling, if you need help dealing with something that happened to you, reach out to me. I'll help you get a therapist. I'll help you find somebody who can help you. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. When we're protecting pedophiles and rapists, we are giving the finger to their victims. And this poor girl took her own life because she saw the celebration of Chaim Walder's life and death when the man wasn't even man enough to stand trial for what he did. He couldn't face 22 women. This had nothing to do with community pressure and, oh my God, an innocent man and no. For him to use the harsh words, I'm going to call you to Beis Din Shemayim. Yeah, that's what he said in his suicide note. I'm going to call all of you to Beis Din Shemayim. Well, don't you dare. Look at you. Calling your victims liars on your deathbed, going to your dead son's grave and blowing your brains out. What a fucking loser. I'm sorry. What a fucking loser. And I hope the victims can find a great white shark of a lawyer who can go after the estate of Chaim Walder and take every penny he ever made. I want the Walders left with nothing. Let them start again. Let them rebuild. I wonder how much life insurance is left over. I wonder if it's enough for the Walders and the victims. God, I wonder. There needs to be justice. And it starts with us, individually, how we feel about these situations as they come and what our reaction is. That is how we change this. When you are not outraged by a pedophile, what does that say about you? When it is not your problem and somebody else's, what does that say about you? I hope the Walders are left with nothing based on the severity of Chaim Walder's crimes. I hope there is a way in heaven on earth. Every penny from Kids Speak, which was, you know what's funny? I picked up one of the volumes of these books when I was in Israel about 6 times to read, and I couldn't. Because the guy's a fucking piece of shit. I don't know why I didn't want to read the book. It was like God showing me. Nope, don't read it. Not for you. He's evil. We have to pay attention. There needs to be no solace for rapists and pedophiles. It's one thing if they're in a rehabilitation program and they're not hurting anybody. But this man was running wild, using his power to sexually assault women. That is what he did. And one of them took her life. And yes, I'm mad because it could have been me. It could have been any of the other women I know that struggle with medication, therapy, group therapy, support systems, all kinds of it because they were sexually assaulted and need support. So when you have to become a warrior for your people, for your friends, for the people you love, for yourself, yes, I'm going to scream until the windows break. When it comes to sexual abuse, I hate it that much. And I hate anybody who does it. And I hate anybody who protects these people. And if you're decent, you should too. I can't even remain calm. It upsets me so much. I am going to, we'll address that, Miriam, we'll address that privately. I'm going to wrap up, but I needed to just get this off my heart, off my mind, off my chest, because we lost another one, another sister, another one, to her own hand. And I want every single one, all of us who've survived, and all of us who feel like we've won, and we've overcome, and we pray for our sisters and our brothers who didn't yet. Pray for them. Pray for their healing. Give money to the Jewish Community Watch so they can continue to do their amazing work and continue to fight this disgusting battle, this horrible battle that ended in the life of an innocent woman who just wanted some justice for what happened to her. I wish you all a wonderful day. I hope you feel what I said. And I hope you understand this is the only reaction, in my opinion, that should be the right one. Pedophilia, rape is disgusting. And it should be met with anger and viciousness by the general public. We should not have to be nice to these people. And we should not have to respect their wishes to deal with something publicly when these girls have been in excruciating pain privately. Their private life has been so painful that they're allowed to put you in your place. They shouldn't have to be quiet. I hope that every single person who even considers laying a sexual hand on a child or raping anybody sees this, and it scares the shit out of them. And it scares them into therapy and into help. Because there are people who have not offended yet. They need help. But for those who have, you're in the court of public opinion now. It doesn't matter how you feel, what you want, how you wanted to deal with this. Doesn't matter. These women didn't want to be raped. I didn't want to be raped. I know how many countless men and women that I know that didn't want to be raped. We didn't want to be touched. None of us asked for it. So if you're going to give it, you better be ready to handle the consequences. And there is nothing, if anyone wants to talk to me about this, I've looked into it with countless lawyers. I have nothing to stand on at this juncture in my life other than being in therapy since I was 5 to prove I was sexually assaulted. I will never get justice on this earth, but I will up there. And I count on that. And Chaim Walder is getting it up there. Count on it. I wish you all a very good day. I'm going to get ready for my interview with Gregory Hall, and we're going to have a great day. But this needed to be addressed. I'm sending you all love. All of my brothers and sisters who are healing, you're not alone. Reach out to me. I'm here for you. You need help with a therapist. You need whatever help you need. I'll help you. Doesn't matter if I know you. I understand your pain, and I don't want it to kill you. So I'm going to wish you all a wonderful day. And this is the first episode of the 3rd season of Hopeful Wisdom. And God bless you, and I will see you all later. Take care.